Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Cronin Challenge2Change. I'm so excited to be bringing this yet another series, another episode for you. I can't believe it's September 29th already. Where did September go? I mean, it just seemed like yesterday we were in the middle of summer, and now here we are in the middle of fall. Although I do love Michigan and all of the amazing colors, and we're just having such great weather these days. And I'm also so excited to be bringing to you today a very special guest, Adam Helfman. He is going to be presenting to you what he does, his business, his construction business, talking about his podcast. So I'm just so excited to bring him on. But before I do that, I just want to remind everybody why I started the Cronin Challenge2Change so many months ago. And it was, in the beginning of COVID, everybody was a little scared, nervous, anxious, mad, frustrated, all of the above. And I just wanted to bring our viewers some inspiration, some hope, the quest for change, being the best versions of ourselves, even while we were stuck at home in the stay home, stay safe order. And for those of you who know me, I am also very passionate about peaceful co-parenting and having a great shared parenting relationship with the other parent of your children. And I do that because I know what's at stake. And what's at stake is the well-being of our children, of our youth, of the next generation to come. And because of that, I am now starting these amazing workshops, and I really hope that you take advantage of the opportunity for these workshops. The first one starts tonight. It runs for 4 weeks. Please call my team at 248-639-9928 to sign up, to get more information. And I'm going to be doing these classes on a regular basis, so it doesn't matter if you missed a night. It's going to be like a rolling course. And so every 4 weeks, I really just want you to know that you have a place to go for some help, for some guidance, for some coaching, to be the best co-parent that you can be, because your children deserve it. If you don't, you only get one shot at being a parent, and your children only have one shot at being children, and they grow up so fast. And the statistics of teen suicides, of depression, anxiety, of drug addiction in our youth, it is very correlated to how parents co-parent peacefully. So please reach out to my team and join me during our workshops. And also you can find all of my series and episodes on our Facebook page, Cronin Challenge2Change, the Cronin Law Firm. We have our podcast channel, YouTube, where you can see all of the recordings of past episodes. But before I go any further about that, I do want to talk to you just about staying positive. And remember, we're all in this together. I know it sounds so cliche, but we are. No one is immune to what's happening right now in our world. We're all going through something, very different. Some of you may heard of it, COVID. I don't know. But anyway, stay strong, stay positive, and stay motivated. And with that, I'm so excited to bring to you Adam Helfman, ladies and gentlemen. How are you today?
Hi, I'm doing super fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Super fantastic. Not just fantastic, but super fantastic. I love it.
Thank you.
I love it. So let's, just start at the beginning. Tell the viewers a little bit about yourself and what is it that you do?
Okay. Well, thank you again. My name's Adam Helfman. I'm a fourth generation contractor, 30-year veteran in the home improvement business. I have a brand called Hire It Done, website hireitdone.com. I do a nationally syndicated radio show called Hire It Done with Adam Helfman. We're in 42 markets currently. It's every Saturday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Here in the Metro Detroit market, I'm on a station called 97.1 The Ticket, which is sports. And we give home improvement advice, which is the opposite of do-it-yourself. You see, from the neck down, I'm worth minimum wage. Okay? From the chin up, let's just say beyond 7 figures. And the reason why I say that is because it's my knowledge that I'm using, and it's my knowledge that I want to share with the listener. and people on home improvement. So we're not going to teach you how to stop your washing machine from doing the tango across the floor. I'm going to teach you the questions to ask the washing machine repairman so that you don't get ripped off, you don't overpay, and you'll know if it's worth repairing or getting a new one. So the hire it done is more about getting the right contractor as opposed to doing it yourself. So that's what
Do
I do.
you do you find that a lot of your, your students or your listeners are women because they have a harder time trying to figure out, and I know I'm stereotyping, but some of them, many women are amazing. In fact, I have a general contractor who's a woman and she's done an amazing job for me. But who is your audience?
So that's a very good question. So the demographics for Hire It Done is a dual income homeowner, uh, average income 75,000 on up. However, the requests that come into my website, and by the way, Hire It Done is kind of like Angie's List and Home Advisor. Those are my two big competitors. So we're
Oh,
similar in
okay.
that regards, but we use the TV, media, and radio and podcasting to generate our audience. 70% of all the requests that come into my website, we get about 1,000 requests a week, okay? 70% are from a woman,
Hmm.
initiated by a woman. Now, I'm not saying that the decision is solely made by females. However, it's initiated by a female, and my communication skills and the way I set my show up has not, I don't want to call it a feminine touch, but it speaks to men and women. And I make sure that when I communicate, that any female who's listening to my show, which is probably over 50% now, can understand very clearly and easily, this is how I got to hire a contractor. Because to be honest with you, I'm going to tell you a secret. Females are treated differently by contractors than males. It's
No.
not a myth.
Oh, I
I'll
would
tell
have
you,
never thought that. Being a
it's the
female
truth.
myself.
It's the truth. I've seen it.
Contractors, mechanics, auto mechanics, all of the above.
Correct. So I can
Yeah.
speak for the home improvement vertical, and it's really true. So I try and
Mhm.
balance it out. I try and level the playing field, but at the same time, it's something that females need to be cognizant of. They need to know how to maneuver and navigate around that, and how to use it to their advantage if possible. So that's part of my mantra.
But Adam, how can you possibly give good advice when the person needing this information on how to quote unquote speak properly and ask the right questions and know if they're getting ripped off or not, if you yourself hasn't so you haven't seen the problem, the issue, you haven't gone out to their house, you don't know so you're
Right.
just kind of relying on their word. But how do you know what they're saying is accurate because they don't really know what they're talking about?
Well, that's a real world scenario. So, and you're right. I don't know. So the key is uh, how to identify it. How do you got to start at the very beginning. How do you find the right contractor to bring to your house that will help you identify it? So you got to go all the way to the beginning. Obviously, if it's clear as day, you have a broken piece of glass, or you want to replace the tile, you want a new roof, it's leaking. Those are easy issues. But if you have like a mildew or a mold problem, you have water or a noise that you can't identify, that's you have to become an inspector and you have to figure it out. But that's where I come in because I make myself available to my listeners, my audience. You can email me. Homeowners can request consultations with me, and we will break it down simply so that we can figure out what the problem is.
Okay. That's great. Have you ever had someone come back and say, "You gave me bad advice. Well, that wasn't the problem."
Not off the top of my head, but I'm sure I have. I'm not going to be so
Well, I can imagine it's hard though for the person on the other end to convey to you what's wrong when they don't know. And so then how can you give advice?
Yeah.
It's kind of like the blind leading the blind almost.
Well,
So,
that's true, and I base it off of my knowledge and my experience because I've personally renovated and built over 10,000 homes, and I've been
wow.
through that many. Uh, they haven't changed the way they build houses, right? 2x4 construction, concrete, insulation, drywall, paint. It's all the same. It's not like there's a new technology that says, "Oh, we're using mud to build your house." No. So until they change, it's pretty much the way it goes. Now it's scenarios, it's what causes situations, environment, homeowner use, lack of use. There are so many things that can distract or create the combination. That's where it becomes a situation where you really have to draw deep and figure it out. But listen, I can't think of anything, but pretty much all problems are solvable.
That's great. So, Adam, you spoke to something just a moment ago that you have built over 10,000 homes.
Yeah.
Are you still doing that while you're doing this work as an expert, the home improvement expert, and the talk shows and all of that?
So what I like to call it is I'm not a full-time contractor. I consult for homeowners who say to me, Adam, I've been ripped off. I'm building this big addition and I don't trust anybody. What do you charge to manage the project, to oversee it, to consult so that we can reduce our risk? Because it's really what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's reduction of risk. And so I will do that. Plus my passion and I love keeping my head in the game. So it allows me to be in the field and
Mm-hmm.
still talking to tradesmen, still managing, still seeing things from plan to fruition, and keeps my finger on the pulse of what's going on. So I consider that as part of my business, is having to still do some of that.
I've been in the middle of it's nearing the end, but a year and a half renovation for just my, small part of my home, my bedroom and bathroom. And it has taken a year and a half. And I know COVID had a lot to do with it. The delays. And then once things were starting to get up and running again. But it's just been a nightmare. And like you said, I mean, there's so many amazingly skilled trades out there, the skilled tradesmen and some amazing workers with great work ethic, and they won't jip you off. And then there are the others who just want to take advantage and not show up and want payment, and then not show up and want payment. And it's just crazy. So that's amazing. I'm so glad that there's, someone like you out there who really, who knows the industry, who can manage these jobs. I wish I would have known about you long ago.
Well, I've actually, I appreciate you telling me that because I've heard that before. A lot of people, they just don't know. But one of the things that Hired Done that we do that helps homeowners is we pre-screen our contractors. So we
Mm-hmm.
do a criminal background check on the owner. I don't do it on the employees because then no one would be approved. But we do it on the owners. We have a requirement they have to be in business at least 5 years. 96% of all contractors fail in the first 5 years.
Right.
So we have that. We check 3 references on the homeowner side, and then we call 3 business references. And then we actually go out and inspect their work to see that on the job site to see it. So once they pass that pre-screening, then the contractor has to sign a code of ethics, which
Mm.
is more written towards protecting the homeowner. And then they can compete for the homeowner's business. Because look, as you know, we've all been basically brought up to get 3 bids on everything. You want a roof, get 3 bids. You want a painter, get 3 bids. You want a master bathroom, master bedroom, get 3 bids. Now, is that right or wrong? It depends. However, if you're going to get 3 bids, get them from 3 licensed contractors that are experienced, that have known what they're doing, and actually specialize in doing what you want. So my business, hiredone.com, takes care of a lot of the pre-screening for you, and then you can then let them compete for your business and get the best deal that you need. Keep it simple.
And is that, like you said, your competitors are those other brands that you had said that
Sure.
that do the same thing. But the issue I know with a lot of people is it takes some time for those bids, for those contractors to come in to bid. And then I know a lot of homeowners probably just get very anxious and they lose their patience and they just go ahead with the first bid. Do you find that a
Well,
lot?
okay, so that's a problem in the industry. So here's the thing: you know how we get the mailers every week,
Mm-hmm.
inside, outside, scene, the new little newspaper, the Beacon, and you've got
Mm-hmm.
Bell Pack. Well, 70% of all of those are contractors. Even when you watch TV, besides political ads right now, you go to the commercial break. You got window companies, you've got roofing companies, you've got next day flooring companies, right? So you see, it's always home improvement, furniture companies. We're not going to name any names, but the point I'm making is, people hear that. But if you call 5 companies tomorrow and invite them into your home, of the 5, 3 are probably not going to call you back.
Isn't
And
that amazing?
yeah, 2 will call you back. You'll invite them into your home for an estimate, free estimate, and then one of the 2 may not even get you back a price. That's the frustration with homeowners
Mm-hmm.
and with contractors right now, because COVID, we all sat home for 4 months staring at our tile, staring at our kitchen countertops, staring at our house saying, oh my God, and you're not spending money. So you built up a few dollars, and everyone now all of a sudden says, COVID's allowing people to come in the house. Adam, I need a guy. I got a guy, right? And so now everyone's overwhelmed. Now people are mad because we can't get them out quick enough. So it's a grind.
Right. Yeah, supply and demand, right? Yeah.
Supply and demand,
It's
exactly.
amazing.
Economics.
Yeah. Yeah. So you said you're the fourth generation.
Yeah.
And so tell us a little bit about that.
Okay.
Did
So
you always know this is the area you wanted to get into? Is
no,
it
of
just
course not.
assumed?
I thought I was gonna be a doctor.
Yeah.
I
Of
grew up
what?
in
A doctor of
Springfield,
what?
foot doctor.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why. I always thought I was going to be a podiatrist, and went to college and studied construction engineering. And that's when I said, you know what, I'm going to go in our family business. So my family business, my great grandfather came from Europe and started our family business in 1926. He didn't speak English, so my grandfather spoke English. So him and my grandfather, my great grandfather, my grandfather used to go around, and they started in the business by demolishing homes. And what they would do is they would go out there. My great grandfather, this is how my grandfather told me. He would look at the place, and then he'd tell my grandfather what it would, how much it would cost, and my grandfather would translate it and tell the person. Then what they did is when they demoed the house or they demoed the building, they would take the 2x4s, the brick, and they'd save them, clean them up, and they'd resell them as used lumber, used construction debris. And that's how we started off in the lumber business. And then we grew the lumber business, and then as the lumber business grew, the home improvement business, which evolved out of the lumber companies all around the
Mm-hmm.
country, people would say, oh, we need, they would go to a lumber yard to get home improvement done. So that's what was the segue for my family business to get into the home improvement business. And then since 1926, we've been doing that. I have a degree in construction management and got into the family business in the early 90s. I left the family business in 2004. Um, got a little burned out, and we there was a TV show. I don't know if you remember in town. Was called Extreme Makeover Home Edition.
Yeah.
Ty Pennington moved that bus, so we were the contractor in the Oak Park episode. I built a house for an autistic and deaf parents, a blind autistic child with deaf parents. We renovated this house for TV, and we did a really good job. In fact, our episode won an Emmy, and I became good friends with the executive producer. At that point, the executive producer and I became buddies. He called me and said, listen, you did such a good job. The guy in Louisiana is screwing up. The guy in Texas isn't doing a good job. So I said, why don't you fly me out? Let me see. Maybe I can help. Well, he hired me as a consultant, and I went 2 seasons working for that TV show, teaching builders how to build a house in 5 days, 9 hours. And I caught the media bug, is what I call it. That's when I left my
Right.
family business and said, hey guys, I'm going to go try this whole Hollywood thing. And I was behind the scenes as a construction manager for the TV show. And I ran for 2 seasons, had a great time, learned a lot about Hollywood, learned a lot about a Hollywood finish. Things like
Yeah.
reality TV is not reality. Okay. Let's just say that. And then I came home and started a radio show in 2005. And I said, you know what? It's time to teach people how to hire contractors, not do it themselves. So I was a little bit ahead of
Mm-hmm.
the curve because DIY is still the most popular. But with time being a very important currency today, most people don't have time to do
Mm-hmm.
it themselves. So why not arm people with the right questions and knowledge to hire a contractor so you don't get burned? So that's how my business started. And I called it Hire It Done.
That's amazing. Did you ever go back to the family business at all?
No,
Is it
when I
still in
left,
existence?
no,
Okay.
they closed it down probably 5 years after I left.
Okay.
And I never looked back. You know, we could do a whole show on family business, the
Right.
dynamics, generational differences, who does what, the animosity, succession planning. It's a good legal topic one day. Um,
The power struggle.
yeah, yeah, oh yeah, trust me,
Yeah. Yeah.
been there, done that. So,
Yeah.
but the key is, look, at the end of the day, home improvement's in my blood. I keep my finger on the pulse, and I love it, and I love helping homeowners. So people trust me, so I have to continue that path.
Well, can you explain a little bit about how you came to do that first episode in Oak Park
Sure.
of the Extreme Makeover? How were you chosen?
So my company that we were in at the time was called Fairway Construction, and we were known for kitchens, baths, room additions, dormers, things like that. So we were a big, large, family-owned remodeling company, and we were known nationwide. We were probably the largest in Metro Detroit at the time. Um, so what the producers do is they find a family that they feel is a qualified candidate for the show, and then they go to the local building department and they say, "Hey, we're going to do this. We're potentially going to remodel this house. We need a good contractor, but we also need you guys to work with us because at 3 in the morning we may need an inspection." So they have to line up a lot of logistics before they even get there. So they had 3 families in Metro Detroit that they wanted to consider. All 3 building departments told the producers at ABC that they should call my family business.
Wow.
So they researched me and my family business and they met with me. And initially I turned them down because I'm like, listen, I'm really busy right now. I don't have time to do a TV show, and I've seen the show and I didn't like it. And the reason why I didn't like the show is because they never gave promotions to the builder. Like, hey, thanks to Adam Helfman for doing a great job. They would always be about Ty Pennington really doing the job, which he never did. Um,
Right. Right.
so I turned him down. And then after the third request back to me, I said, all right, I'll make a deal. Mention my name, mention my company name, give me a logo shot, and pay me, and you got it. And they laughed me out and they said, not a chance. I said, okay, find someone else. Last minute, they came back to me and says, okay, we're going to pay you. It was not a lot of money, but it was still the only builder they ever paid. And they gave me all the other stuff. And I did it. And I didn't realize what a great time it was. I actually changed someone's life. But I will say this, no good deed goes unpunished. I'll tell you that.
Oh
That's for
yeah.
another
That's for another episode. Yeah.
right.
My late father used to say that a lot. And it's
Right.
true. I've had my share for sure. You
Yeah.
think
So
you're
that
doing
happens.
something good for people and then they just take, or they assume, or yeah, it always
Assume.
comes back to bite you. Mm-hmm.
And I learned that in that time. So, but I'm older now.
Mm-hmm.
That was 2004 when I did it. So that's 16 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to stop being, kind and doing good things, but unfortunately, sometimes it does. It comes back to bite you. So you have to be very careful. But but
Yeah.
so, Adam, tell our viewers a little bit about some of the challenges. You touched on this. Let's segue into that. Like what? So when you say no good deed goes unpunished, what has happened in your, line of work, your life, your personal life that, has really grown you to be the man that you are today? I mean, I know this is a broad question,
Well,
but
I have many stories that will fall within that. So we're going to pick a few,
yeah, I
I
mean,
think.
you're a very successful man. People look at you and they want to be like you. You're an influencer, you're a home improvement expert. Do tell.
Okay, so let me go with um, me being bald. Okay, I suffer from autoimmune disease called alopecia, which I don't know if you know. It's non-threatening, but you just don't have hair. When I was 18, I had a full head of hair, beautiful head of hair, and I went to school, way to college, and then in a month, the first month in college, 5 days later, my hair started to fall out, and then in 5 days, I was bald.
Wow.
Right now, when you're 18,
It's traumatic.
1986, yeah, 1986, it's so traumatic that you know like my mom took a picture of my high school photo and flew out there. I was at school in Arizona at the time. Flew out there and said we got to, took me to a doctor and put a wig on him. So when you're 18, you lose your hair. That's traumatic enough. Then when your mom puts a wig on you, because back then Bruce Willis wasn't cool, you know, bald wasn't in. So I had to wear a wig. I know it's not sexy or anything like that, but it was traumatic for a child. And at 18, I didn't consider myself anything but a kid. Um,
Hmm.
and then I got bullied in college. And I didn't know it was bullying. I just thought people were making fun of me. They called me Kojak, uh, you know, just bad things, and it hurt me. I repressed all that and didn't realize how bad it hurt me till later, 30 years later, when I started to figure out why I am the way I am.
Hmm.
So that was one thing to overcome, and I wore a wig up until 2010. And I decided
Wow.
that I'm going to take it off. And I made a big reveal out of it. Like January 1st, 2010, I just whoosh, pulled it off. And it's interesting because you learn a lot about people. You learn a lot about who's a friend, who's not, who supports you, who's there for you, who's colorblind and who's not, So,
Mm-hmm.
and at the time, I had just gotten divorced. And my son at the time was 8. And just so you know, children bounce back. I know you talked about single parenting, co-parenting. One thing I never regret, and this is for anyone out there who's ever a single parent, I never disparaged my son's mother ever in front of him. Kids know, kids rebound, they rebound and they know everything. So you never should ever, and I'm no expert. Instead, I just kept my mouth shut and I paid all my responsibilities on time, which I
Mm-hmm.
find something that's not normal. Um, so,
Right. It's unfortunate, but you're right. Mm-hmm.
but what I did was when I did become, I'll call it natural, in 2010, it changed my whole thinking and perspective of life because I can't believe I went that long where people were like, Adam, it's about time. We all knew, you know, how when you watch someone wears a toupee or a wig, you can tell. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, psychologically, it was just a disaster for me. But anyways, long story short, I was able to overcome it. I was able to turn it into a complementary look and to deal with it. And I guess because I can understand myself better, it allows me to have less anxiety because I'm just like
Mm-hmm.
everyone else. I have anxiety. I have fear. I have, nights that I'm sleepless. I think about crazy things. I'm no, I'm a therapist's dream, actually. But the point is I still can turn it on. I still can be successful. I still can focus and concentrate and don't let it get the best of me. But I never forget either. I use it as
Right.
a way to say, all right, this is how you were. Don't forget that because you don't want to slide backwards. And so I try and compound my successes. I try and think of things that always keep me positive. There's no sense in talking about the negative, the sky is falling or not. COVID's going to kill everyone. You know what? We're going to be fine. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to be fine before the election, after the election, and we don't talk politics, but it seems to be everywhere you look, you're hearing that. So for me, I'm staying in my lane. I'm going to use my integrity and my honesty to keep me moving forward. And you know, as you get older, you learn, you become more experienced. So you learn from your mistakes. You try to be wise as opposed to smart. Smart people what learn from their mistakes. Wise people learn from other people's mistakes. So hopefully you can be a combination of both. But it's never the way you want it to be. Literally, every day it's a new thing. But you deal with it one day at a time. Is the way I look at it.
Well, I think that's a beautiful story, and thank you so much for sharing that. It is true. We all have our own issues and problems and things that cause us to stay up at night, our insecurities, and even the most confident seeming person out there has insecurities, has or has overcome self-esteem issues, and it's a tough world out there, but I also feel the older we get in life and the more we've experienced different things and stresses, what might have stressed you out completely at 18, now you can handle it. And now you're handling so much more because of those experiences and because you've learned and because you are wiser and smarter. And it's the really life. And I like to say that with experience comes confidence. You might not have been as confident to, take that wig off, in the year that you did it in 2010. But every day thereafter, it just grew and grew and built. And like you said, you met your friends, you true friends stayed with you or near you. First of all, who would have not ever, I mean, why? It's amazing to me how people are so judgmental, and that if some of your friends, left you because of it, oh my gosh, good riddance. That's awful that someone would have that kind of value system. But anyway, you see it all the
Right.
time. It's
Correct.
life, or if you lose a job or you lose money or whatever. But It's good. Kudos to you. I'm really glad that you're in a great place and things are going well for you.
No, I appreciate it. It takes a lot of courage. You know, I have a lot of confidence today because of that, but it took a lot of courage for me to do that, and it was years in the making. It was
Mm-hmm.
way overdue, but you know what? You deal with it. At the end of the day, I can say to myself, there are a lot of people out there with worse problems than me. You know, and you never want to walk in someone else's shoes, obviously. So I just decided, look, this is who I am. This is what I'm dealing with, and I'm going to make the best of it. And if you like me, great. If you love me, even better. But if you dislike me, no problem. We live in a country where you're allowed to not like.
Right.
Just, I'm going to avoid you. That's all.
Yeah.
Trying to simplify things, but it's not
Right.
easy when you're single.
Well, you said earlier that you were going through a divorce during some of the issues that you were having.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that and with your son? And, do you find that taking off the wig, so to speak, coming out, so to speak, was helpful for your son?
Well, he was a motivator for me in it. So obviously, uh, before he was born, I was wearing a wig, and then he growing up would see me both ways because I'd come home from work and whip it off because I couldn't stand it, and he would see both of me. But what inspired me to do it finally was we were at a restaurant, him and I, and he pulled on my shirt, Dad, Dad, and he was 8 years old at the time, or 10 years old, excuse me. And I'm like, what? He goes, there's people over there talking about you.
Hmm.
What do you mean? He goes, can I ask you? He goes, can I tell you something, Dad? I go, what? He goes, it's time to take it off.
Hmm.
Now this is coming from a kid, 10 years old, and I go, what are you talking about? He goes, I'm talking about your wig. I'm done, Dad. It's time for you to take it off. And when he said that to me, it's almost like he was talking through me. Like it wasn't his voice. It was like something powerful, greater. And I immediately, when he said it, went right into a panic attack. Like literally, started hyperventilating. Felt like warmth coming over me, and I'm just like, come on, let's go. And it turned from panic, anxiety to anger. And I decided, you know what? That's it. I can't handle this anymore. I need to do it. And because of his telling me that, it was 30 days later where I decided that's it. First of the year, I'm doing it. And I did it.
And you did it, and there's no
Yeah.
looking back.
No, and I
No
don't
looking
regret it.
back.
I regret not doing it earlier, to be honest. But
Yeah.
it's still over 10 years ago. It
Well,
time flies.
time flies, and you can't regret. I've learned this too. People do have regrets. Life isn't perfect, but you are where you are, and you were where you were for a reason, and you just weren't ready for whatever reason.
Yeah,
And
I wasn't ready.
had you done it sooner, you might have regressed and put it back on. Who knows? You did it when you did it, and that's it. And like you said earlier, there's no looking back. So we don't want to recreate the past. We want to move forward. I think that's awesome.
And it did allow me a new chapter in my life, to be honest. So,
Hmm.
and now here we are in the next chapter dealing with the next phase of life.
So when were you doing the Extreme Makeover Home Edition series?
I worked for them in season 2, 3, and 4. So it's 2004, 5, and 6.
And you were wearing a wig at the time.
Correct.
Yeah. And how was that for you, being with
Terrible.
the Hollywood elite and all of that?
It was gross. It was terrible. It was unnerving, uncomfortable in environments where construction debris, dust, heat, cold, wherever it was. We went and built a house in the North Pole.
Wow.
So we did a lot of things. But, again, you maneuver, you manipulate, you navigate through all that. And I dealt
Hmm.
with it. I tried to put it in the back burner, but it was something that everyone else would be staring at. I
Right.
found out later.
So, and now fast forward, how old is your son now? Is he 18?
My son is 20.
20.
He's a
Okay.
junior at the University of Southern California. Brilliant child, thank God. Uh, and he's going to be in the film business. He's a
Okay.
he's a writer, and he wants to be a director. So you've heard of a comedian named Larry David? Heard of
Yeah,
his
of
wisdom?
course. Oh, yeah, yeah.
My son writes just like him.
Okay. Oh, I love that.
Yes,
That's great
he's got a
humor.
snarky comedic tone about him.
Yeah.
So I'm working really hard to give him the best education, and hopefully it'll put him on a path of success when he's done.
Did you share custody with his mom growing up?
Yeah. We had a full joint 50-50 custody.
Mm-hmm.
And his mom does get a great job with him. She's a great mom. And so,
And was he part of your shows ever, or your broadcast, or part of your business now, your expert business?
it's funny you ask that, because I would beg him to come on my radio show to watch. I would beg him to come on some of our video shoots and some of the news segments, and he never, ever, ever wanted to do any of that.
Hmm.
And listen, you can bring a horse to water, you can't make him drink, right? But he's now writing TV shows and filming videos, and he's in college. He's living in LA, enrolled at the best film school in America, taking classes online on Zoom.
Well, that's because of COVID, right? I
Yeah, of
mean,
course.
yeah,
So
yeah.
we agreed we're gonna play it out to the end and see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Well, obviously you had some influence over him. He would have probably never gone into that area or that discipline of, the filmmaking and writing and
Sure.
comedic writing had it not been for you and what you're doing. So I think that's fantastic. And
Yeah, I'm
obviously,
lucky dad.
yeah. And obviously he was a major influence on you, 10 years
Completely.
ago.
He's
Yeah.
the reason why I took it off. He's the catalyst for sure.
Yeah. That's amazing. So what other challenges have you faced? Whether it's, with your business, I know, leaving a family business with all of its dynamics can be tough to walk away from. There's guilt, there's shame. You want to be a part of something,
Yeah. There was also relief.
fear,
Yeah,
relief.
no. Yeah. So again, it's very difficult in family business. Um, everyone wants to hold their own weight. In my situation, I was pretty much the reason why the company was making a lot of money for my management and what I had done to make it. So,
Mhm.
but because I wasn't a full owner, my dad and my grandfather had passed, and my uncle and my father were the owners, and my uncle refused to pay me more money because he's like, well, no, you're going to get more money. You're going to get it out of your dad's share. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. I'm an employee, so why don't we set up compensation as an employee with bonuses based on performance? And so our family attorney agreed. And of course, when I blew away all the goals and deserved a big fat bonus that almost surpassed what my uncle was making, it
Mhm.
immediately started a domino effect. And so I knew that I either had to leave the business, or buy him out, or start my own. And so then the TV show came up, and it was like an easy out for me. Maybe I ran away. We can look at it 100 different ways. But I am who I am today because of it.
And were there other siblings or cousins or
No,
involved?
it was.
No.
I have a sister who didn't go into business, and my uncle has 3 children, 2 daughters. Both are doctors, and the son went into the business, but he's 10 years below me. So I had already left when he went in,
Mm,
and I'm not ever happy about anyone's demise or anything, but the results were less than glamorous with him and them. He's a nice kid, nothing. I have no malice, but they're like, oh, now we get it. After I'm gone, they could see what they missed.
right.
And my
Right.
dad had already retired because he was older, so at that point it didn't make sense. So
Mm-hmm.
I have my brand, my radio show. We just launched our new podcast, and I consult for homeowners on home improvement, and I love it.
So is that what your podcast is all about?
So my
The
podcast
consulting?
is an offshoot of Hire It Done, the radio show. The podcast is called Contractor Therapy,
Oh, I love it.
and it's
Contractor therapy. Tell us
yeah.
about it.
So Contractor Therapy is home improvement horror stories from the contractor from hell and the homeowner from hell. So every week I talk about a homeowner horror story or a contractor horror story, and I have listeners who tell me their stories, and then I give the professional anecdote, like, okay, if you want to avoid this, here's the steps you need to take. And so it's very entertaining. It allows me a little bit to be more of myself. I can swear a little bit. I can be more uh, hyperbolic, using a lot of hyperbole, and more entertaining. On radio, because it's public, I have to watch everything I say. I have to stay in my lane. I can drop my atomisms, I call them, on my podcast and allow me to tell you how I really feel.
So with the contractor horror stories, I mean, is there something that's so out there that would be amusing for the viewers to hear?
Um, I mean, yeah, we've had where contractors sleeping on the job, little things like that, to getting caught stealing, to doing
Yeah.
drugs, uh, to doing inappropriate things while the homeowner's there. Um, you know, just it runs the gamut, to be
What
honest.
about homeowner horror stories? What about them? Like a bridezilla kind of thing?
Oh
Is that
yeah,
what you
crazy.
mean?
Yeah, homeowners are like,
Yeah.
they listen. 100 problems in a project, 50 of them are the homeowner's responsibility. Literally,
Mm-hmm.
that's the truth. Homeowners lie, just like contractors lie. Oh, we
Mm-hmm.
were home all day. No, they weren't. Or we've had contractors. I'll give an story. A contractor was demoing a bathroom, and they found a bag of cocaine,
Oh, wow.
a big one. We're talking like enough to go to jail for a long time. So my guys were always instructed: if you ever find anything illegal or suspicious or inappropriate, leave it there. Call me right away. Document everything, because the last thing we need is to be accused of anything.
Right.
So this was a homeowner, and it was in a return air duct, hidden, but you could see that it had not been old. It had been there recent, not old. So I called the homeowner up and, hey, we're demoing your bathroom. We're almost done, and a couple of issues. When during the demo, we found a few items that I'm here right now looking at. I don't know how to handle this. I'm sure, and I played dumb. I'm sure this isn't yours. I'm sure it was here before you moved into this house. What do you want me to do with it? The guy's like, what is it? I'm like, it's a bag of white powder. He's like, oh, what? That ain't mine. I'm like, okay. I said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it in a garbage bag and throw it out then if it's not yours. And immediately, oh, no, 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 no. Just leave it there. Let me see what it is. I'm like, okay. 20 minutes later, the guy's there, you know. And he's like, I don't know where this came from. Where'd you guys find it? I'm like, you can tell he's acting. We're like, look, here's the deal. Take it, put it in a paper bag. We didn't see it. We're going to continue on. The guy's like, fine. But those are the things. We found we found crazy, adult items in projects. Just there's so much. We were drywalling an attic in the attic. The homeowner's cat got into the attic, and we drywalled him into the attic. And for 3 days, they couldn't find the cat. So they called me. They're like, we can't find our cat. And I'm like, you were supposed to keep him aside. We can't. And so I said, well, that's a problem. So 5 days later, they heard a meowing, soft purring. And we're like, okay. I sent my guys over there and I'm like, break a hole in the drywall that goes in the attic. I need to see it now. We'll fix it. And sure enough, the poor cat was dehydrated, alive,
Aw.
hidden back there. But the homeowner, so much as so waited 3 days, thinking, oh, well, it goes outside all the time. Didn't really care. Me, I would have called 911, been ripping up everything.
Right,
But
right. That's crazy.
yeah,
When you first said that story, I thought, oh, I envisioned, like a cartoon where the cat's plastered on the drywall. I know that's,
no, that's the
too
thing. And then
funny,
one
but
time, this is when I was a contractor. This is actually my company. Great story. We The homeowner had 3 bathrooms in the house, and we were doing 2 of them. And my guys showed up to demo, and our plan was to demo one, finish it, and then demo the other. Well, they demoed the wrong bathroom. They demoed the third bathroom that we weren't even doing.
uh-oh.
So I called the homeowner up. I'm like, listen, I got good news, I got bad news, and then I got good or bad news, depending on how you want to take this. He's like, well, give me the bad news first. I said, well, the bad news is we demoed the wrong bathroom. And the guy goes, ooh, which bathroom? I go, the one that you weren't even going to touch. He goes, what? He went crazy. I said, and he goes, then what is the good news out of this? I said, you're getting a free bathroom out of me because I'm going to put it all back. Here's your chance to change the colors. He's like, oh, well, that's not so bad. I go, no, but it's costing me like a lot of money. He goes, so what do we do? I said, we have to meet. I need you to sign off that you agree that we did the wrong bathroom, that we're replacing it for free. You know, like for like. But if you want to upgrade, now's your chance because you're going to save a ton of money. So what he ended up doing is we ended up doing that bathroom over, and then the other two that we were supposed to do, he left one of them, applied all the money to the newer bathroom to lower it, and then we just ended up doing two out of the three. But
Okay.
imagine my guys showing up and demoing the wrong bathroom and having to call me, and then me having to take that anxiety and anger and what the hell, and then have to call the homeowner and then get basically attacked again, but trying to smooth it over. And by the way, the lesson here is honesty is the best policy. Literally.
Always.
Never
Always.
make
Always.
excuses. Just be straight up. We screwed up. I own it. We're giving you a new bathroom. Here's what I'd like to do. Please don't kill me. And then if you want to
Right.
fire me because of that, go right ahead. I'm guilty. I'm not gonna. There's no sense in saying, "Oh, my guy is dyslexic. He went left instead of right." It just is what it is.
Right. You know, that's interesting that you say that because with so many professionals, whether it's a doctor or lawyer, and if they've messed up, they try to cover it up or they don't have a good bedside manner and it just like snowballs and it gets worse and worse and worse. And you're so right. You just have to be honest and come clean and, don't have a chip on your shoulder. Don't be defensive and just own it. And
It's funny.
like you said, honesty is the best policy.
Yeah. In fact, before we went on the stream with you today, I record my podcast on Tuesday mornings. The topic of this morning's podcast, which will be Friday, lies contractors tell homeowners.
The lies. Okay. What are some of them?
I'll give you the top two.
Anything.
Okay, and these are
Okay.
tied for 1 and 2.
All right.
You ready? The job will be
Yeah.
done tomorrow.
Oh, right.
And line number 2 is my guys are on their way. Keeps it
Always.
simple, but it's kind of funny. But you'd be surprised how often, not even on purpose, but how often contractors just don't tell the truth. But it is what it is.
Well, you said earlier, it's don't put yourself. You don't want to put yourself in someone else's shoes, but when you do, you somehow have a little more empathy and sympathy from where they're coming from, and maybe they want the job so badly, or they need the job. They're going to do anything that they can to get the job because they need to feed their family or whatever it is.
That's true on the sales process. When they're selling you the job, it's like a war. Most contractors think of it as a war. The war to get you to say yes is what they're in. Once you say yes, it becomes another battle. So they're going to tell you everything. Oh, I'll get the job done right away. We'll clean it up every day. You'll never know we were here. Don't worry about it. Your lawn and landscaping will look perfect when we're done.
Oh, right.
Don't worry.
That's
the
a
roof,
joke.
we float on the side of your house when we get to the roof. We don't climb ladders and ruin everything. Don't worry. They'll say anything to get you to say yes to the job.
Right. Right.
So that's why my show works so well, by giving you the tools necessary to see through all that and ask questions that will peel away layers so that they'll know. You ask the right questions, the contractor's going to know that you know what you're talking about.
What are some of those questions?
So I tell homeowners, I'll give you a good, an advanced one is, everybody knows when you're getting a contractor to give you a quote, you want everything in writing. Is that safe to say?
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure.
So what I tell my homeowners and listeners is, okay, once you get the contractor to give it to you in writing, ask them, say to them, Mr. Contractor, do me a favor. You're the expert, I'm not. So can you write this estimate to me like a story, a beginning, a middle, and an end? Demolition in the beginning, the middle and the end. And that way I can understand it better. Contractors love that. Okay, and they write it out. And then I say to them, don't ask him, don't tell the contractor this till he gives you the quote. But once you get your quote, you review it, and then you say to the contractor, hey, can you put in writing everything not included? And the contractor will be like, turn his head, look at you, like, what do you mean? Well, certainly there's things that aren't included, and you're the expert, so can you please write down what's not included? The reason that I instruct homeowners to ask this question is for the specific reason that it makes the contractor think about the project a little bit deeper than just, here's the price, let's get started. Because now he's going to have to think, what's not included? And I'll give you a real-world example. You hire a contractor for a bathroom, and the contractor says demolition of bathroom, cleanup of the job. So the contractor demolitions the bathroom, takes all the debris and puts it at the end of the driveway. You're like, wait a minute. He goes, we didn't say clean up and haul away debris. So homeowners, need to know that, okay, now the homeowner's stuck and the garbage company's not going to take the beat up bathroom debris. You have to get a dumpster delivered, and then you've got to have it all, the schmutz put in there, and then take it away. And that's another $400 or $500. That's why we ask what's not included. A lot of contractors say, we're done. And, oh, we don't paint. You're supposed to paint. So they get it to a drywall finish. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So
right.
there are 1,000 items I can tell you that aren't included that they don't tell you about. You bought a bathroom and you went to one of the supply houses. You bought towel bars for hand towels and other towels, but then you bought a robe hook and a toilet paper holder, and they're all matching. How cool, right? You give it to the contractor thinking he's going to put it in. He says, "Oh, it's $100 per item." What do you mean? Why are you charging me? Well, we didn't include your robe hook.
Yeah.
Little
Isn't that
things like that.
amazing? Little things, right.
So homeowners don't know any better, and contractors are going to prey upon you that you don't know either, because they're going to look at it as ways to make a little bit more money, because every dollar after you say yes is a profit dollar for a contractor.
Doesn't it seem outrageous that it would be $100 per hook? I mean, do some people charge like that?
Oh yeah, I mean,
Wow.
you'd be surprised at what people charge.
Wow.
Yeah, and the disparity between pricing is like dartboard. It's from all over the place.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we're almost to the end of the hour, but I've gotten so many questions, and you've been such an engaging guest that it's been so fun. I have to get to a couple of these questions. This is one of our viewers, and it says, "It's so great to hear from a single dad. How is your experience juggling all your work activities while raising a son?"
That's great question. So I always prioritize my son. I come from a family, my parents have been married 56 years now. And my dad always spent a lot of time with me. So I was in that apple doesn't fall far from the tree, family first type of situation. However, my son was not the sports type of kid. So I wasn't the coach of the team or any of that stuff. Instead, him and I went to Pokemon tournaments. And we played Pokemon. And he was like a professional Pokemon player. And we would travel, like travel hockey, travel soccer. I was the Pokey Daddy. We would go to Indiana. We went to Ann Arbor, Lansing, Grand Rapids, to all these Pokemon tournaments, and he'd play this game where these kids, you've heard of Pokemon, right? Where these
Right,
kids
for
play this
sure.
little card game.
Yeah.
So that's when my son first got into video. He started a YouTube channel opening up packages of Pokemon cards. And
Wow.
it became crazy busy. Crazy, like 80,000 subscribers. Like we should wish we had success with this kid. But
Wow, that's amazing.
So it's a different, but I had to make time. I felt it was an obligation, my obligation as a father. I gave up golf. I used to be an addicted golfer because I knew I wanted to spend time with my son. So maybe I don't think it was planned. It wasn't taught to me that way. Like, I'm not saying that this is the right way or the wrong way. It just, that's how I am. I'm a family person. I'm committed. So I had to give up sacrifices. Yeah, I'm single. I haven't been able to date because I'm busy with my business. I'm busy taking care of my son, and I take care of my parents. Traditional dating has not worked for me. I like it.
It's hard.
It happens.
Yeah, no, it's tough. It's busy when your children are young.
Yeah.
They're busy. I know, my kids are super involved in sports, and I have my business, and it gets very, very busy.
Yeah.
And there's only so much time in the day, and you want to be dedicated to your kids. So that's great. Kudos to you. And you often hear that men don't participate as much, and that's not my experience. I know a lot of amazing, wonderful fathers who have definitely put their kids first. So that's great. That's good to hear.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
And I have one comment from a viewer. Wow, I'm so impressed to hear you talk about your insecurities. I always feel like women are the only ones battling this. Thank you so much for sharing about your alopecia, and I think you are amazing. So that's great. Kudos to you. Yay.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
That's a great way to end the hour. And I'm just, I'm so pleased and honored that you've been with us. And is there anything that you would like to, leave our viewers with, a takeaway or two for them? And, I know we're in COVID still, and things are just kind of still not back to normal, but we have a new normal, but we're all proceeding and we're all okay. So what can you share with us? for some takeaways.
Well, first of all, let me thank you for having me on. I really appreciate that. I had no idea what to expect today. It was last minute with Adrian, and I appreciate it. And I'm actually very happy, and I'm glad I got to meet you. So I appreciate that.
Thank
I
you.
always feel like I get better, or I can deal with any issue because I suffer from anxiety. I'm not going to lie. If I take a positive approach, if I can just say, what's the worst that happens from this, and how can I learn from it, and what can I do to get past it? Sometimes you're powerless. Sometimes it doesn't, work. So if you stay positive and just say, okay, it happens, now what? Just move on. Forget about the world's ending. The sky is not falling. Chicken Little and all the alarmists out there. The world, if whoever wins the election, we're still going to be okay. McDonald's is not going out of business. Taco Bell is still the best fourth meal. We're good.
Right.
So
It's true.
just keep it simple. Smile and take a deep breath. Sometimes appreciate what's just around you. I know it's easy to say that, but if you practice it, you'll be like, oh, you're right.
Well, there are things such as, keeping a gratitude journal and just telling yourself every day 1 to 5 things that you're grateful for. And it can be as simple as the sun or, the bird chirping. And like you say, it's a muscle. The more you practice it, the more you get outside of yourself and the more your life has meaning. And you can shift your personality in smaller ways. Because I know people that get focused on the negative and it just is a downward spiral and they can get so depressed and anxious and, depression is regretting the past and anxiety is, being fearful of the future. You just gotta really live in the moment, right? So enjoy. And I'm so happy to have you, Adam. Thank you so much for being so great. Your energy is fantastic. I love it. You've been a wonderful guest and it was so nice to have you on. So where can our viewers find you if they want any kind of advice, any of your services, and also your podcast and your show on 97.1?
Okay, so Saturday mornings, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. live here in Michigan, 97.1 FM. You can go on hireitdone.com, which is my website. Facebook, we're all over Facebook. We're all over social media everywhere. So just type in Hire It Done. You'll find us. Our YouTube channel has videos on every type of home improvement. So we're very easy, and you can always reach out to me privately. Ask Adam. There's links everywhere, but it's adam@hireitdone.com is my email. And yeah, I get back to every email that I'm sent. So it may take me a few days, but you will hear back from me if you have a request or advice or anything like that. So appreciate you bringing me on today. Thank you again.
Thanks, Adam. Have a great day. Take care.
Bye-bye.
And everybody, there you have it. What an amazing guest, Adam Helfman of the Hire It Done Dad. That's amazing. He's such a great motivation, great influencer. He's a home improvement expert, and you heard it firsthand from him. He had been bullied as a college student. He suffered from a disease that he couldn't control. And, it's unfortunate that people just aren't accepting of that. And because of that, he went into years and years of hiding, literally and figuratively. And I can only imagine how hard it is for people out there not to feel that they can reveal their true selves, who they are, whether it's whatever issue you're hiding, whether it's sexuality or a fear of being involved in a certain group or your race or culture or what you believe in or who you stand for, what you stand for. Don't be afraid. Don't let peer pressure or bullying or fear of someone's reaction stop you from being true to you. That is what you need to do. Be true to you, be authentic, be genuine, and the people that matter will find you. The people that really care about you will stick around, and those others will just fall off naturally, and the universe or God or whatever you believe in will take care of the rest. So be yourself, be your true, authentic self, and the world will be better for it. There's a saying out there that says, if you're faking it, you're still going to have half the people like you and half the people not. So you might as well be true to you. You're still going to get some people liking you and some people not. So stay true to you and be confident, be courageous, and be solid in your actions, and really be compassionate for others, and be a voice of reason. And that's why I love this show, because I want all of you to feel like you can come on, ask questions, and we are here to help you, to motivate you, to guide you, to inspire you, and just to be your best self. That being said, guys, please remember my workshop starts tonight, September 29th, Co-Parenting in a Minefield. And please call 248-639-9928. I will get that number memorized very, very soon. My team will be here to answer any questions, to talk to you about pricing, how you can get involved, how you can become a part of our workshops. And again, there's another one, October 2nd, talking more about divorce. And that's a one-day workshop designed to give you advice and helpful hints and tips on really how you should act with your lawyer, what questions you need to know, and how you can better navigate the whole divorce process. So go to our YouTube channel, go to Facebook. You can find us really everywhere. And we also have our own podcast. So go back to some recorded sessions. There's some great, amazing guests that I've interviewed and some tips. And just remember, stay strong, stay motivated, keep your spirits high. And until next week, everybody, just take care of yourselves and stay positive. Bye for now.